This has been a fun way to get us through the rest of the summer of these quarter breakdowns of the Jet schedule. We reached the final plateau here before next week, playing the win-loss game with the New York Jets. We'll give a final schedule prediction. But before we get there, we got to dive deep into the nitty-gritty with the final quarter of the opponents on the Jets 2024 schedule. It's a Sunday. Let's roll.
Zoinks! But it is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
What's going on, everybody? Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And you guys have gotten used to the new set. We've had it for the last, couple of days here on the program. But it's time for Hop on Pop to make his debut on this new set because we're doing a Sunday episode for the final quarter prediction. So let's bring him in. I know you guys love this guy. You love him, you hate him. It's an extreme reaction every time, which is good for business, baby. So let's bring him in. My father, Hop on Pop, here on the last day of June. What's up, Father?
Hey now, how's it going?
How you digging this? You're prominently featured up here. You got you, Grandpa, me, the baby. We got some book section, some footballs, helmets. So yeah, there's a lot of juice happening in this new setup.
Yeah, I like the new setup. I like that the furniture that I purchased is in the setup.
There you go.
Yeah. And it also, so that was obviously a solid purchase that's lasted for 10 or 15 years, that furniture. And then there's a poor purchase that you made on for a good cause. You made a bad purchase. When you're looking in your pocket to see if you have 2 pennies to rub together, you think it's a good idea to spend $100 on a moron's book that's signed behind you. So anyways, but I digress.
Well, actually, that book you're referencing, this is the David Tyree, The Catch, and His Football. That was actually $200, so not $100, but that's neither here nor there, simply making the story worse, perhaps. And yes, some people would say, they're like, Paul, you're a Jets fan. Why in God's green earth do you have David Tyree's thing? Twofold. One, Syracuse guy. Some people may forget he's a Syracuse product. That's where we're from around here locally, where we've lived for a long time. And number two, the Patriots torture is my pleasure. So phenomenal. They're 18-0 season. David Tyree sticking that football to the side of his head over Rodney Harrison is a spectacular moment. And eventually Plaxico Burress, former Jets great, also a jersey my dad has of a Jets Plaxico Burress jersey, and he ends up finishing the job. So, yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. So let's put this in perspective. Does Tatiana know these facts? So for everybody that doesn't know the facts,
okay,
Boy Green paid $200 for that, Tommy Two-Tone, the one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
And that's 10 times more than he wouldn't pay for a dresser for his child. He had a $20 dresser that he needed for his baby on whatever, Facebook Marketplace, whatever.
Yeah.
And $20, that's too much. David Tyreek, no affiliation to the Jets, got to spend the $200, 10 times more than you wouldn't spend it. I just want to put that in perspective.
Okay. First off, a bidding war ensued I was not expecting. So I'm like, okay, this guy's challenging my manhood here. It's on the line. So we started firing back and forth. Boom, boom, boom at this like auction style event. And all of a sudden the money was flying. And I was like, I did not anticipate spending this much moolah. But, again, my manhood was questioned. I had no choice. I had to dive into the deep end of the pool. Now, I will tell you that kind of like I've been visited by Christmas Ghost Past, Scrooge style. So I've been trying to, atone for my sins. One of the other things I skipped out on purchasing that I've been hearing. Hopefully you guys can relate to this. I moved upstairs. So this is a house, but it's separated upstairs, downstairs. For the first couple of years, we lived upstairs. Then the people downstairs moved out. The landlord, the owners, they moved out. I'm like, oh, perfect opportunity. Let's move down there. But before we did, my fiance says, ooh, can we get one of those portable dishwashers? And at the time, there's no child, just me and Tatiana. I'm like, what the hell would we need a portable dishwasher for? There's 2 people here.
Isn't Tatiana portable?
Well,
there you go.
Well, yeah.
You already had a portable dishwasher.
So I said, absolutely not. What a waste of money. I mean, how many dishes could 2 people possibly make? And then she let me know over the following 8 years exactly, apparently, how many dishes 2 people could make, and a third person that we made. So I was able to correct those demons semi-recently, get her a portable dishwasher. I never hear that anymore. But the other one that I continue to hear is that dresser situation. So that's a demon I will have to conquer at some point in the future, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But yeah,
10 times more than you wouldn't pay for a dresser. And when you whipped out your manhood, it was right. Something wrote a check that your wallet didn't have at the time. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, but before we get into all of the schedule breakdown stuff, I do want to give a shout out right here at the top of the show because, Father, we haven't talked about it yet because it hadn't become officially official yet with all of the pertinent details of where people can join us and buy tickets. We've talked a little bit about it, but the fact of the matter is that, we're going to the Jets-Patriots game week 3, and now it's official. I'm going to throw this flyer up on the board in between our faces here, and it is me. It is Proud NYJ fan, a.k.a. Nick Shine. We have a ticket tailgate package coming up for week 3 Jets-Patriots, but you may say, oh, Paul, it's September 19th. I'll worry about this later. No, we have to have the tickets in by July 8th. That is right around the corner. We got July 4th holiday next week. If you guys would like to join me and my father at the Jets-Patriots tailgate extravaganza. It's both a tailgate and, of course, sitting with us with the ticket package. Tickets are $140 a pop. I'll stop the banner here so you can see the bottom of this little poster. Tickets are $140 a pop. It's upper end zone. We'll know all those official details once we have our number of how many people are coming. And the tailgate is an optional $65. That is food, alcohol, all that jazz. If you'd like either one of those things, you could tailgate with us and then sit somewhere else if you already bought tickets, or you could tailgate somewhere else and then sit with us. Either way, or of course, obviously you can do both. Have the ticket and tailgate with us together. You can PayPal or Venmo me. These details on this poster are also available in the YouTube description down below. It is my email, Paul, A the letter, ESDENJR @gmail.com. All you have to do is send the money here as soon as you possibly can. Again, the deadline is coming rapidly, July 8th. You just need to have your full name, an email that we can correspond back and forth with, and then the full details of your purchase. Paul, I'm buying 2 tickets and 2 tailgate packages. Paul, I'm buying 1 ticket in this, whatever it is, so we know the exact money that's being sent can go in that realm. So, guys, hop on that. We've already had a few people already lock up their spots, but the sooner the better, because I want to make sure you guys can go to this. It's going to be so fun to meet a lot of these virtual faces finally for the first time. And, Pop, it'll be me and you being there we've never done one of these things together before for an event like this.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have some merch too, right? You didn't mention
That's correct. Yes, so that is in the works behind the scenes. We are going to have a T-shirt. So for people coming, of course, you can buy it, but also people that are not coming, and they may have some event. I know some of our diehard Boy Green fans here on the show cannot attend the event for whatever reason. It's a weekday and all these other things. You guys will still also be able to purchase the shirt and kind of live there vicariously with the T-shirt. It's going to be pretty cool. I've haven't seen the design yet, but we've been working on it with a lot of the stuff that's going on. It's got a lot of the fellow content creators on it here in Jets land. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. That shirt, hopefully we'll have new details on that in the coming weeks, but specifically as it pertains to the ticket package, you need to reserve your spot. And once the deadline passed, I was talking to Nick, it's over. So if you miss out on this, you miss out on this. But if you need a partial payment or something, you can reach out to us if you really want to go, but you have to, let us know, or else we don't know. So we can't stop the bus. Once the train leaves the station, that train is gone, baby. So again, make sure all the details down below and also on that mini poster as well. Any final things there? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, where else can you go and pay a measly $5 more than that ridiculous Tyree book in football? For all you can eat and drink, and to watch live in person the home opener of the Jets when they club a baby seal, right?
Yeah.
And where do you get that? I mean, that and forget the meet and greet, the tailgate, the food, the drinks. But then you get to see him slap around the Patriots. It's too bad the guy with the weird cutoff sweatshirt won't be there for the beating. But otherwise, it's going to be phenomenal.
So I can't wait. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Again, the deadline is July 8th to get that money in. So, guys, let us know. I think there's a little bit more flexibility on the tailgate option, but the tickets, I think, is a hard, fast rule for July 8th. So, again, that's coming around right around the corner. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on all forms of social media, at BoyGreen25. There's private messaging available on all of those. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Again, at BoyGreen25. I can answer any additional questions you guys may have for that event. And like Johnny Boy's in here says, woohoo, can't wait to meet you guys. Johnny Boy's going to be there. Uncle Tio's going to be there. Plenty of people, including Snowball. Apparently, he's going to be there too, which is going to be awesome. So, all of you guys, can't wait. But get your details now if you haven't gotten one or either. Like I said, tickets or tailgate package. All right, Father, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, outside of a mini intermission there when Brody, which, by the way, Brody should be watching. He reached out to me yesterday, my brother Brody, that you guys met a couple of weeks ago. He should be watching this show somewhere live right now. He said he was going to get up for it. So I said, oh, excellent. So wonderful. So Brody should be watching the show. So shout out Brody Eston, wherever you are. We appreciate you. But what we had been doing prior to that is breaking down the schedule in quarters. And we're down to the final quarter here. And you mentioned this before, but I think it's interesting to note these 4 games that are here for the New York Jets. I'll talk about them in a 4-pack here, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty details. It's at Jacksonville. All of these are 1 o'clock games outside of Dolphins in the regular season finale. That's TBD because that's a flex game. Could be a Saturday night game. Could be a Sunday night game. It kind of depends on if it means something. But at Jacksonville, 1 o'clock. Home for the Rams, 1 o'clock. At Buffalo, 1 o'clock. And then, again, that Miami game floating. 3 of those 4 teams made the playoffs. All 4 of them had a above 500 record last year. All 4 would have made the playoffs if the Jaguars didn't collapse like a used lawn chair at the end of their season. They would have made the playoffs. They were in the running for the number 1 seed late in the season before everything fell apart. So, as you've mentioned before, this is an incredibly interesting final stretch for the Jets, Papa.
Yeah, it's this is where you pay the check, right? You're like when you went on that cruise, right? Oh, this is great. The food, the drinks, the entertainment, by the pool, getting fed Boy Green getting fed green grapes by the pool with a fan. And then you get the check. Well, this is the paying the check for the the sprinting start. The Jets should be 4 or 5-1. This is where they're going to the proof hits the pudding, right? The late buy is going to help, but this is really those 5 games. You could say it's every 5 games, but apparently not, because last year the Eagles did worse than folding like a lawn chair and still squeaked in the playoffs. But this 5-game stretch is really the 3 divisional games at Miami sandwich bread there. With a couple other tough games in the middle. This is going to be something.
Yeah, let's start it off. We'll go to Jacksonville to talk about this one real quick for the New York Jets. Again, this will be at Jacksonville. The Jaguars, according to the ESPN win-loss projections, are projected as a 8-9 team. So they're the only team in this Final Four that is projected with under 500 record. It's only by a game. Their playoff percentage is the lowest as well at 37.5%. That's probability to make the playoffs. And their Super Bowl odds are less than 1%. They are a lot higher for a lot of the other teams here at just 0.8%. Is what the Jaguars have there. The big loss for the Jaguars, if you're looking at their depth chart, was obviously Calvin Ridley staying inside the division and leaving to the Tennessee Titans on a blockbuster money deal. That was really their only massive loss of the offseason that really stands out from that perspective of what they lost. But they have a lot of interesting members on this team. And of course, how can we not talk about the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, who is now tied as the highest paid quarterback in the NFL at $55 million per year. He's got 1 playoff win, and that was the Chargers' epic collapse when they were down at 24-6. And whether the Jaguars won it or the Chargers lost it, I guess that's somewhat up for debate. But the $55 million man, and I will die on this hill, Trevor Lawrence is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. I mean, a former number 1 overall pick that was promised as Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and he's been fine. He hasn't been $55 million fine. He hasn't lived up to that hype anywhere whatsoever.
Yeah, and so actually this, I started looking at this, and we're going to digress for just a minute, right?
Please. Yeah,
Frankly, this is not that interesting of a matchup. The Jaguars have like one of the worst defenses in the league, right? Their best receiver hit the bricks. They got the retread from Buffalo as their big acquisition.
Gabe Davis, that's right.
Yeah, in the offseason, right? So other than the roommates, the butt buddies, whatever you want to call them, from Clemson, the running back quarterback combo,
Travis
right?
Etienne, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but let's talk about the contract. How many NFL quarterbacks are getting paid above? This is the trivia portion of the show.
Okay.
How many NFL quarterbacks are getting paid more than $50 million a year?
Okay, so let's see if I can play trivia here. So obviously, Trevor Lawrence is on that list.
Yes.
Joe Burrow is on that list. Jared Goff is on that list. He just got paid this offseason. Okay, let me see here. Boy. I think he's on this list, but I think he's at the bottom. Is Patrick Mahomes on that list?
No.
Oof. Okay, his contract has not been adjusted yet. Oh my goodness, there's some weird names on this list.
So you get half. You get half. So if there's 6, you get half.
Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see. Well, Dak's not on there yet. Jalen Hurts, he's on that list.
He is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of recent guys who got Lamar Jackson's on that list.
Yep. One last one.
Ooh, one last one. Okay, come on, Paul. Let's see. Okay, let's go division by division. That'll get us there. It's not Josh.
Oh my gosh.
Tua hasn't been paid yet.
Boy.
What? Do you it's like an obvious name?
It's win-loss percentage. It's the second worst name on this list.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll just give up then for the sake of time, I suppose.
Justin Herbert.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
So let's go with that. So what is the most important component of a quarterback? It's not really a question. It's the winning percentage, right? The quarterback makes it. The reason he makes, 25% or more of the entire salary cap is because the team rests and falls on that. So I've got an interesting trivia. Of those 6, okay, and I'm going to start with the top 10 win-loss percentages, and then we're going to, of all time.
Oh, okay.
Active. No, active. I'm sorry, not all time. Of all time. But that will be a trivia question later, is who is the highest winning percentage of all time for the NFL quarterback? But anyways, in the top 10, okay, how many of those 6 are in the top 10? Winning percentage. Current active winning percentage.
Okay. I would imagine Lamar Jackson's on that list. The Ravens have been very good.
Well, Lamar Jackson is number 1 of the 6.
I understand. Yeah. So again, he would have to
not
be
number 1.
No, I got you. So I'm thinking good team, good organization. I don't know if he's there, but because he's had injuries. So are we only counting games that he has appeared in?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Game started.
Okay. Then, then Joe Burrow, I guess, would have to be on that list.
Yeah, he is not in the top 10 of active quarterback winning percentage.
Okay, interesting.
But he's if you filter and you go, okay, how many games played, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but it is interesting. You know who number 1 on the list is, and then we'll filter it. We'll go with
you said it was Lamar. Yeah.
No. That he's not. He's on the list. He's number 1 of these 6.
I know what you're gonna say. Yes, you're talking about it's Dak Prescott.
No, it's not. No way or near.
Okay.
The quarterback, the active quarterback with the best win-loss percentage is, drumroll please.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Cooper Rush.
What?
Yep, 833 win-loss percentage of games started. 833.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, I digress. There's only one team that has 2 active quarterbacks in the top 10 win-loss percentage, but I digress. I won't mention who that is. But we'll move on. We're going to filter this to 50 wins or more, and I'm just going to run through the top 10, okay?
Sure, please do. Yep.
But so these 6 don't get there at all, but for the most part. So Patrick Mahomes is number 1 if you go 50 games or more. Lamar Jackson, number 2. Jimmy Garoppolo is number 3. Josh Allen is number 4. A. Rodgers is number 5. Jalen Hurts is number 6. Number 7 is Dak Prescott. Tua Tagovailoa, you know his name. Russell Wilson, and then eventually way down you get to Joe Burrow. So what the reason I bring any of this up is it was astounding, right? The win-loss percentage in no particular order. Jalen Hurts is 61% win-loss percentage. Trevor Lawrence, 40%. Nice. Joe Burrow, 57. Jared Goff, 57. Lamar Jackson, 72%.
Very nice. Yeah.
Justin Herbert, 48%. And Patrick Mahomes, 76.4%. But anyways, the point of all of that is this is where the Jets need to be thinking. This is why they made, we made Ricky from New York a very happy person with the draft pick that they got. You get this quarterback, in later rounds, and then you set yourself up. And then you hope you have a problem like the Dallas Cowboys had, right? They get that Dak Prescott in, whatever, 6th round or whatever it was.
4th
right?
round,
and, yeah. And so then you're like, that's the problem. I was thinking about the other one. So that's a problem you want to have, right? Because otherwise you're going to overpay. Because when you get an average quarterback, an adequate quarterback, a middle-of-the-road quarterback, from now until the end of time, until the NFL owners, not that they obviously got together, collaborated, but do what they did to the running. That would be illegal. Did what they did to the running backs, right? There, and turn this thing around. You're going to keep paying, and just think about where that would go, right? We thought, and what gets buried in all of this is the Deshaun Watson crime that he committed on the city of Cleveland.
That crime. I see.
That they're still overpaying, right? So that's the problem that all these NFL franchises, you're going to pay for some garbage quarterback 25% of your salary because you realize it could be worse, right? And by the way, one of the names of the top 10 is Mason Rudolph. I had to say that. But anyways, so I digress. With all that being said, it jumped out at me his huge contract for, he has, you got to really give him the discount double check on his years when he had that the gyrator as his head coach. When your head coach kicks one of his players,
it was a kicker. Yeah,
he kicks his kicker and then he gyrates with someone who's not his wife in a nightclub after a lot. Right. So that year, like, I don't know, that guy needs to be locked in a cell. But anyways, you got to give him some kind of discount on that year. But at best, he's been an adequate quarterback. Right. And it's funny. You think about these names on the list and the amount they're getting paid. Everybody loves to hate on the Cowboys. But you look at these other quarterbacks that don't get the heat. It's just funny. But anyways, I digress.
No, the only thing I'll say real quick on I am not a fan of the people that do this all the time. And Trevor gets a pass a lot. For that person you're talking about is Urban Meyer for his first year and having that guy ends up getting fired and everything else. A lot of people write off the first year of Trevor Lawrence as you're doing an evaluation of his history. Now, and you did a little bit, but a lot of people do that when talking about him. And I hate that because I wish that I'll tell you, David Tyree is just the tip of the iceberg of the mistakes I've made in my life. If I could just wipe away a year of my life of my choosing, and I don't want you to evaluate that for insert circumstance, I wish that's how the world worked because I would do that too. If we could do that for Trevor Lawrence, that crappy first year he had with Urban Meyer, and it's his rookie year and everything. I just hate a lot of people do that for the analysis when his contract comes out or the evaluation of him. I mean, if you just look at this though, if you don't even consider that to me, that part just seems ridiculous. But again, if
you do that all the time, by the way,
name once.
Name a garden slug. Anyways,
but with Trevor, if you actually watch him as an individual, he turns the ball over a lot, so that part's a problem. But there are individual plays you're like, whoa, there's Trevor Lawrence. There's the Clemson kid. There's those things. There's a lot of throws he has in his resume. If you did a highlight film of Trevor Lawrence, he looked like the greatest quarterback of all time. He has some unbelievable ability to do things, but there's just a lack of consistency that happens there with Trevor. But anywho, go ahead and share your thoughts on this Jaguars game specifically.
Yeah, it's not really a lot of they have a terrible defense. Their offensive weapon, number one weapon, is left. I don't expect a lot out of them. Here's what right? So back in the day, what you should do against Tom Brady is punch him in the mouth because you didn't like it. And so Trevor Lawrence is fragile, right? big Syracuse football fans. Twice they knocked his punk ass out of the game, and he was hurt last season. So he is injury prone. If you put a hit on him, I'm not saying a dirty hit, you get like 2 steps, right? So if it's 1.5, take it, right? And because especially now that they're wrapped in that big bubble thing, the quarterbacks. But if you can get at him, if he runs and he likes to run, if you can, when he's a runner, and if you can punch him in the mouth, he's not going to like it, and he likely won't finish the game.
Yeah, it actually kind of goes back to someone in their own division. The Jets played the Texans last year. Near the end of the game, the Jets knocked C.J. Stroud out of the game. Now, it wasn't a dirty hit, but it was just incredibly physical game. It was rainy. It was terrible weather, and C.J. Stroud got lit up, and the Jets defense just hits hard. They swarm to the football. It's kind of that same breath that happens there. I'll give a little bit more love to the Jaguars. They also, with their first-round draft choice, picked Brian Thomas Jr., the former LSU kid. They do have Gabe Davis. They still have Christian Kirk as well there. They also brought in Mitch Morse. He's the former Buffalo Bills center. Now he gets plugged and played in there. And then Ezra Cleveland, a lot of the Jet fans wanted him by the trade deadline. The Vikings sent him away to the Jaguars for a half-eaten donut, and he's on their starting offensive line as well. And they added Eric Armstead, who's a freak. They added him this offseason. Josh Allen just got paid, the defender, Josh Allen. And shout out to Andre Sisco, our boy. Speaking of Syracuse, he's been getting interceptions. He has 7 picks over the last 2 years, and he was an interception fiend in college, and that has translated eventually. Again, if you want to wipe off the weird Urban Meyer Cisco year, like Meyer at one point couldn't even name Cisco. He couldn't name his own player. He said, that guy. It was really embarrassing. It was one of the many embarrassing moments there for Meyer down there. And also Trayvon Walker, I'll just give a tip of the cap. He's a guy who I thought was a total bust as a former number 1 overall pick, coming off a 10-sack season. So little tip of the cap there. The overall defense may not be great, but there's a couple individual talents that are very intriguing there in Jacksonville. But that is the first game of this 4-game 4-pack.
Yeah. Just one more thing on this, right? If the Jets are going to be a playoff contender, then this is not a trap game. This is a game they need to come in and win. This 5-game stretch, realistically, we'll break down the records maybe next week or the week after. But, this 5-game stretch, they may go 3-2. This needs to be one of the 3. Hopefully they go 5-0. I'm just realistically, they've got some tough games in here. They could go 3-2. This is a win. If you're a playoff team, you win this game.
And let me just clarify, this 5-pack you're talking about, we're only talking about 4 games today, but you're including the at Miami road trip the week before, correct?
That's right.
Final
That's
5?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Miami twice, Buffalo once, the Rams who are about to talk about, and the Jaguars. Of these 5 games, this is a must win.
Yeah, I like that. Also, weirdly on the history here of the Jaguars game. So the last time the Jets played the Jaguars, it was gross. It was the 19-3 game. It was Thursday Night Football. Zach Wilson got benched for Chris Streveler. It was disgusting. It started out great. Quentin Williams strip sacked, the Trevor Lawrence, and then the Jets got the ball immediately at the 15, and it was boom, 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 3-and-out field goal. And I'm like, oh boy, that's a sign. That was the only points the Jets ended up scoring in that game, so it was terrible.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Quick question on that. If you were going to fill a room with people that Zach Wilson was benched for, how many people would be in the room?
Benched for? What would there be? 2? Because, injuries and things. I don't know if that counts on your list, but, benched. He benched for Chris Streveler. He was benched for Mike White after the Patriot debacle, where he said, it wasn't on me. It was windy out there. A defense could do their job. Yeah, that one. He got benched for that one. That's a 2 for.
And so you're not counting any of the 12 times he was benched last year for this injury. Anyways, let's move on.
And the only other game I would highlight is the one prior to that, which is funny. It shows kind of the microcosm of Zach Wilson's career, right? Getting benched for a CFL quarterback shouldn't be high on the list. That's at 19-3 loss. But the prior Jets-Jaguars game was the Jets winning 26-21. Zach Wilson, I just kept rewatching the highlight before we started, the 52-yard touchdown run where he dodges an all-out blitz, breaks a bunch of tackles, and runs all the way to the house. So we're like, oh, wow, we got a franchise quarterback. Good times. Good times. Anywho, let's go to the next one. So that's Jets Jaguars. They're on the slate. The next game coming up for the Jets is sneaky. It's a home game. It's at MetLife Stadium at 1:00. It's 3 days before Christmas against the Rams. Again, the Rams are a team that not only had above 500 record, but they're also in the playoffs in that wild card round. Great game against the Detroit Lions in the Stafford versus Goff revenge game. And the numbers here for the Rams are projected to be a 9-8 team this year, ESPN win-loss projection, and basically a 50-50 toss-up as a playoff team, 47% from the analytics, and but more favorable on the Super Bowl odds, 1.8% chance of making it. That's a full percent better than the Jacksonville Jaguars, a very, very talented team that I will be honest, another team I miscalculated last year. I thought for sure Stafford was washed. I didn't know where this team was, but very good drafting. Puka Nacua. They're also on the defensive line. They had the guy, Kobe Turner, the name escaped me for a second, who was in the defensive rookie of the year running. They just made a lot of great picks. The team that's all F them picks, they actually nailed a bunch of picks, which accelerated that quick rebuild after the Super Bowl. And they were right back in the conversation. The Rams were a really, really good team last year.
Yeah, so this game is worrisome, right? This game is, they have, they have problems that most teams would like to have, right? Puka Nuka, whatever his name is, Poco Loco, right? He was up there. Who's in the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL, and realize that Cooper Kupp is on that team still. Yeah. Right. So they've got some freaking talent, right, in the receiving core, and they've got a sneaky, quiet. They've through the draft acquired a 1-2 punch in the running back realm. They had my boy from Notre Dame, who is third in the NFL in rushing, Kyron Williams, and then they drafted Blake Corum from Michigan, right? Mm-hmm. And so you know how many times in the 15-year of Jared Goff has had a running back that was a rushing offense that was in the top 20?
No.
2 times. Oh. 2 times in 15 years. Last year happened to be one of them. So you give Jared Goff a running game, and they clearly will have one. And the Jets defense is going to pack that lunch pail and come to work that night. And it's going to be a tough game. And, they tried to rebuild for the draft, but they lost, one of the greatest defensive players of this generation.
Yes.
You're sad. But anyways, this is going to be a tough game. Of the 5, this is up there. There's 3 divisional games in this 5, or, that we're talking about, or 2 of the 4 divisional games in the last 4. But this game is you prefer to have this in the middle of the season than right there at the end, one of the last 3 games.
That part might be true, but I'm going to be honest, there are perks to having this, because forever Stafford was a dome quarterback in Detroit, and now he's playing out in LA in this lovely beaches in California of SoFi. To get him in a very deep December cold weather game, again, Matthew Stafford was well known for his arm coming out of Georgia way back when. I kind of like that element of an advantage. You have a West Coast team coming out to New York, cold weather and everything else. That should be a help. But you mentioned it. No Aaron Donald. First off, is Quinn Williams now the best defensive tackle in football? Yeah, you could say that. But I would say with the rest of this Rams roster, super talented. I know Ricky in New York is going crazy because obviously they got a couple of draft picks on this team, including Braden Fisk, Florida State pass rusher, Jared Verse, Florida State pass rusher in that front 7. They also got Tre'Davious White, who was banged up forever in Buffalo, and he gets another opportunity there as well. So they've got a lot of individual, really, really talented players. They did lose their DC. Raheem Morris became the head coach over there in Atlanta, so changes on the defensive side of the ball there for the Rams, but a lot of talent. And I heard someone say earlier, this could be a shootout game. This could get crazy. I mean, the good news is that this is an NFC representative. So from the playoff positioning and things of that nature, if you were to have a slip up, you'd prefer it on an NFC game where it would count less in the overall standings. Again, you want to try to win as many games as possible. AFC, NFC, Planet Mars, it doesn't matter. But from that factoid, that'll be very important down the stretch, because all these other games that you mentioned in this final 5 are all AFC outside of this game. This is the NFC one that's in the bunch. outside of actually, quite frankly, if we just even stretch it out further to the quote unquote second half of the schedule post bye, there's only 2 NFC games. That's the Seattle right after the bye. That's a home game. Also, this Rams game is a home game as well in the mix. So again, Rams, really talented. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee's another one who doesn't get enough love in the tight end room. He's spectacular too. So a lot of talent. Should be a fun game though. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets flexed later in the season.
Yeah, no, I agree. This likely won't stay one way or another. A 1 o'clock game could easily move to either the 4 o'clock or the nighttime slot flex. Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the final 2 games here. We've already talked about both these opponents earlier, obviously, because the Jets play them twice, being in the AFC East. But just to recap or refresh your memory, a 70% chance to make the playoffs for the Buffalo Bills. The analytics love Buffalo. These are ESPN analytics. Also project them to be a 10-7 football team in terms of record, and their Super Bowl odds 5.7%. So some of the better odds in all of the Super Bowl odds is they are favored again quite favorably as it pertains to potentially making the Super Bowl. I would say I was surprised by some of these numbers. Actually, the number is even better. My 5.7% number was for winning the Super Bowl. Excuse me. For making it is a 12.7% odds. So again, the odds favor the Buffalo Bills really well. Ultimately, it comes down to this. Some people, I think, are too aggressive and say the Buffalo Bills window is closed and then they're completely done and move over. And others are too high on the other side. They have Josh Allen. He's going to figure everything out. The true ingredient in all of this mix is, can the Bills replace all their proven veterans and leaders with young guys on the team? Tre'Davious White is gone. Their safeties are gone. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and one of their best players is coming off a very serious injury, Matt Milano at linebacker, and Von Miller looks compromised. There's a lot of really talented players, but they're trying to replace them with draft picks and younger options. If you believe they can, then the Buffalo Bills should be among the best teams in all football. If you don't believe that, then maybe not.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and this game will be different than the first game. I'm trying to I didn't have it in front of me.
Sure.
What week the first game was? Oh, here it is.
Week 6. That's the Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
game.
week 6. So this will be this. This is at the end. That team may not be firing all cylinders week 6 by now, barring injuries and stuff. It'll be a different team.
And this one's in Buffalo. Just real quick.
10 weeks later. That's
people.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and there'll be the snow shovelers in the stands. I think they let people shovel snow for beer in Buffalo.
Yeah,
right. Get that lake effect snow. So this, the Jets don't often have climate in December, a climate impact to their playing ball, but Buffalo gets a lot more snow than the Meadowlands for sure. So, but this is going to be an interesting one. Josh Allen is one of the winningest quarterbacks, and will he have his team where they need to be this late in the season? So really, this will be another exciting game. And another must win. I hate to say must win, but this is the team that's expected as 12% chance to 1-8 to make the Super Bowl. You're going to prove yourself. This is where you do it.
Yeah, I'll highlight this comment from David on YouTube. 100% the Bills' offensive line is key. Now, the thing that annoyed me as a Jets fan, since the Jets had 13 different combinations on the offensive line last season, is the Bills' continuity pissed me off. They were one of only 3 teams for a large stretch of the season. I don't know if it ended up this way, but I'm pretty sure it did. That didn't have any change on the offensive line all season. I was like, must be freaking nice. We have 13 changes over here. This team has no changes, but changes they did in the offseason. Again, we mentioned earlier with the Jaguars, Mitch Morse, the heartbeat of this team, their center. No one's talking about this. Mitch Morse isn't a sexy name, and I know offensive linemen normally aren't sexy names. That's the big loss for Buffalo that changes the entire dynamic. They had so much continuity last year with everyone staying healthy. Now you remove their starting center who goes over to Jacksonville. They're converting a guard to center, Connor McGovern, not our Connor McGovern, a different Connor McGovern, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys. He's going in there at center. So there's a lot of changes there, a lot of intrigue. I wonder if he can still lead this group as an overall. That center has a little bit higher responsibility for calling, protections and everything else from that nature. That one could tell the tale of the game, the protection of Josh Allen. No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the final game here. That is against the Miami Dolphins. It's at home, and it has reminiscent flavors. Again, this memory you guys aren't going to love, but it has the opportunity for what it was. Back in the Brett Favre year, back in 2008, the Jets hosted the Dolphins at home in the regular season finale. The Dolphins ended up winning. Chad Pennington, unfortunately, in that aqua coral gross jersey, won the division away from the New England Patriots on a tiebreaker. But those kind of odds, I believe there was a night game too, those kind of odds are floating out there for the Jets. This one could be, and that's why we don't know the time of it, because it could be flexed into it. And this lovely game is inside MetLife Stadium. The Jets host the Dolphins. This could be for the division on the line. This could have absolutely massive implications. And also, ESPN win-loss projection has the Dolphins at 10-7 this season. They believe they're a 60% team to make the playoffs, and they got high Super Bowl odds too, of 3.9 percentage chance of winning the whole gosh darn thing, is what the ESPN analytics anyway had them for that. So they favor them very nicely. Got a talented team, but they lost a lot on defense this offseason.
Yeah, so you've gone over. I got to, before I talk about the Dolphins real quick. So you've gone over everybody's win. What are the Jets win-loss projection and playoff? Because you've been putting because you just said the Dolphins are 60% to make the playoffs. The Bills are whatever higher than 60% to make the playoffs, and then the percentage to play 12.5% or whatever it is for
So I have them
Super Bowl. So what are the Jets?
Okay, so the win-loss projection for the Jets is 9-8. They're a game under the Bills and Dolphins. So at a 9-8 projection. Their playoff percentage is 52.9%, which again, the other two are 70% and 60%. The Jets aren't getting a lot of love from the analytics. I mean, love overall for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 13 years, but not love as it pertains to the division. They've got a significant decrease as it pertains to the rest. They have a 25% chance of winning the division, but again, when you compare that to the other odds, Dolphins are at 31%, the Bills are at 44%. So again, they're not in the same ballpark as it pertains to some of those numbers. And if we carry it over, 1.9% chance to win the Super Bowl, that is for the New York Jets.
What is it to go to the Super Bowl?
To go to the Super Bowl, let me give you that number real quick. 4.9%.
Okay. So I think it's really interesting for what they're saying, right? So I imagine they put this in some kind of a spreadsheet and, whatever. So they're saying that there's a better than 50% chance that 3 teams will make it out of the AFC East.
Correct.
Which doesn't happen very often. So that'd be, it's going to be a slobber knocker, because you have to say that at least once per show, a slobber knocker. But speaking of slobber knockers, right?
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for the Jets, right? This is the Jets, when they slip that check to the schedule writers, this is the final one in the bank. This is the quiet one. Oh, well, the Jets got an easy 6 games. And then everybody, not really paying attention to the end. Oh, they got some tough games. They scheduled the Miami Dolphins to come to the Meadowlands, probably the coldest football game shy of a playoff game, the coldest football game of the year. So it is, they're the alligator dragging that gazelle into the deep part of the water so they can have some lunch on this one, right? The Jets don't play well, nor does any northern team play well in September in Miami, and Miami doesn't play well in the cold. And so this is a great opportunity. There's typically in some of these late December games, a passing game is impacted by the weather. The ball is harder to throw. The ball is harder to catch, which is key because the Miami has the scariest wide receiver trio in the game, right? I talked about the last time we broke down the game. They're the Madden all fly, those 3 guys, Waddle, Hill, and
OBJ,
Jerk, right? You do a fly pattern, right? Little crisscross, and then what are the Jets doing? Those 3 try on the field. You better do that. Star back arrow, right? Back up the defense to prevent defense on Madden, right? So it's really going to be interesting what the Dolphins running game looks like coming into this game. But that is really, so you could talk about the speedsters. I believe the Jets with the right scheme, with the right defensive scheme, will be able to contain these receivers. That'll be really that D line and how it handles the run, right? So you'll go in a 3 wide receiver set. and you've got to commit some people for some double coverage, right? You've got to be in a dime package to cover if they put those 3 receivers on the field. And can your defense stop the run when they're spread out? That's really in December in the Meadowlands, right? That's going to be the key to the game, that the run defense versus run. And by the way, not that I would ever correct you on your own show, but everybody's game week 17 or 18, whatever it is TBD. That's how they do it every year. It's not because the Jets could be flex, although they could be, but no game has a time the last week of the season.
That's one way to put it, sure. But in particular...
That's a fact way to put it.
Okay, but I'm saying in particular for this reason, the Jets and Dolphins, you're right that all of them are TBD, but I'm saying this Jets-Dolphins ones has a chance more than 49ers, Cardinals, Washington Cowboys. All of them are TBD, but some of these you just can kind of mark off now that have zero chance of being flexed into a better slot of what that could happen. I'm just saying Jets-Dolphins has an opportunity to be flexed into one of those primo windows again if they're both fighting for what we believe they will be.
Absolutely. And what you learn is what we learned a decade ago when we bought tickets to 2 deep ran playoff teams of the Falcons and the Redskins. They were called the Redskins now, so I can still say that. So don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. But when we bought tickets, we bought quality, 10 rows from the field tickets in the dome there in Atlanta. Is it weird that there's a dome in Atlanta but not one in Green Bay or the Jets? Anyways, and then those 2 teams were so garbage. They had 5 turnovers in 6 plays in one period of time, and neither one came close to play. So you don't really know, but you're absolutely right. This is it's wide open. The best game gets put on, both at the NFL game of the week at 4:00 and then the Sunday night game. There's a lot here, and the Jets could be one of them.
Yeah. Normally they have a couple of slots. We'll have our 4:00 Saturday game, our Saturday night prime time, and then the Sunday night. Normally, I don't think they plug in Monday night for that week because of the playoffs the following week to not give anyone a disadvantage. So I think the Monday night ends that week, but there's multiple of those windows to see if they're highlighted. Plus, the NFL has to be particular because let's say Jets-Dolphins is for the division. You probably want the Bills game before that, so it's not after and what could be meaningless for some of these. So you have to play the checkers game that is. And if anyone enjoys the ESPN NFL matchup show, which I did when I was a kid, and that one is still available, it'll be what David has said. Miami might have the greatest wide receiver room in the NFL. The Jets have the best cornerback trio in the league, according to Mike Clay of ESPN. He might be right. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II. How they match up. Do they man up? That could be dangerous, and what happens there. And plus, everyone else, I can't highlight all the comments, but a lot of you guys have been talking about it. It's those 2 factors, or 3 factors, really. The Dolphins as a team have not won big games in the Mike McDaniel era. Tua has not played well in big games in the Mike McDaniel era. And finally, cold weather games obviously has been a factor, most notably of which their playoff exit against Kansas City Chiefs. Now, that was a bit extreme and negative, very negative temperatures, but nonetheless, even in regular, I believe it's below 40. That's where Tua has struggled. And I would venture to guess late December football here is going to be quite that, or early January to be more specific. That's currently scheduled for Sunday, January 5th. But again, that could be flexed to the 4th for Saturday. Is going to be pretty intense. But again, a lot of opportunities here on the docket. All right, Pop. This was I will say this overall segment has been a fun bit to get through a lot of the summer here. Again, officially July's tomorrow, which is kind of, poetic in a way that we broke all this down during the month of June. What we'll do next week, we'll play the win-loss game. They do it on the Rich Eisen show. You do it everywhere, where we will go through the schedule. We'll do some preparations ahead of time in our head of what we believe they're going to do and how they're going to get there for the path. And we will do win-loss game next week on the New York Jets schedule and give our official predictions for the Jets schedule. And I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, it doesn't bounce on frozen turf?
What's that?
To his head.
Ah, wow. Okay. No jiu-jitsu will help that, I suppose.
No, and I'm not sure how jiu-jitsu's, anyways.
I guess that's neither here nor there. Is there any story or anything you'd like to get to before any potential callers here on the program, Pop?
Yeah, no story other than the exciting September coming September 19th, right? Make sure that obviously you can't show up to that game. There's going to be merch associated with it, but you can get your sweet boy green hat, right? And you can bring the coffee. You don't only have to put coffee in the coffee cups, right? You could put other things in the coffee cups as well. And the tailgate, they'll be providing that. It could be free refills.
Ooh, okay. There you go. That's the spirit. Again, a tailgate package is available, and they're kind of creed that I've heard, because Joe's Tailgate is handling that, but we're going to be a part of that party that's associated with them, is they're not going to run out of food or beer or whatever drink of choice you prefer. They claim they will not run out, so that sounds like plenty of opportunity. It sounds like it's going to be a 3-4 hour tailgate for some of those people who are asking some additional questions about this event. So the game kicks off at 8:15 Thursday Night Football in Week 3 for Amazon Prime. And it looks like we'll be there from either 4 to 8 or 3 to 8. It'll be something like that. But in terms of the specific tailgate, it should be a 3-4 hour event. So hopefully, again, you guys can come to that. Again, you can reserve your tickets right now. All the info is both on this mini poster, which you guys can see on social media, but also it is available in the YouTube description as well. All right, Dad, do you have time for phone calls?
Absolutely. Yep. Boy Green merch. Make sure you put that link in the bio as well.
It is in the bio, so guys, feel free to check that out if you'd like. I enjoy it. Again, I am a hat freak, so something that's really important to me is high quality. I wouldn't want to advocate for it if it wasn't something I was proud of. The hats I really love, so they really pop. So hopefully you guys can check those out. Those hats are really, really good. I'm looking at it right now on my hat wall that's there on the other side. It's a keeper. I love mixing up the hats for wearing, but that is one that I like to do as a repeat offender here on the show. There's no doubt about it. So, guys, make sure you check it out. There's hats, shirts, and everything in between is there available in the Boy Green merch shop. That is down below as well in the YouTube description. The link to – yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I would be wearing my hat except for the 4th of July. Those that don't like the Red Sox, this is one of the sweetest hats ever made. A raised red, white, and blue with stars logo in remembrance of the 4th coming up this week. Otherwise, I'd be having my Boy Green hat on.
There you go. I think despite your beautiful words on why you're wearing that hat, I think a lot of people will be supplied with hard and shiny objects to throw at you, as you're not going to rally around a lot of Red Sox fans in here, I doubt. But we'll see if that's true here in a second when we dive into the phone lines. Again, that is a pinned comment on YouTube, everybody. If you want to click and join the show, that's the way to do so. Thank you to the 300-plus people who are here on a Sunday morning, you crazy bastards, here in late June. And we're right around the corner. Folks, we are less than a month away from training camp. Report day is July 23rd. And then first practice is the 24th. So we are creeping on top of it. We have July 1st tomorrow, so that kicks us off to the new month. And then the July 4th holiday, so it should be incredible. All right, the phone lines are loaded. And I know one guy who is absolutely not a fan of your Red Sox paraphernalia. That is Johnny Boy, who joins here on the program. What's up, Johnny? Good morning.
Good morning, Boy Green. Good morning, Papa Esden. How you doing?
Doing great. Where's the hat? Come on, where's the hat?
He's got the lettuce going.
Dude, it was I had to go outside and water the grass.
Okay.
And I don't know where my hat's at. I was trying to make something up.
I thought there was going to be a story there, and then just there you go. That's okay. I respect it. Respect the try. Yeah.
Man, that Red Sox hat, it hurts my eyes really bad, and I'm colorblind, but I can see that B on there. So it's one of those, and I'm like, But and a quick story about that. I went to
sure.
I'm a Mets fan, so I'm not even like a Yankee. I hate the Yankees, right? So I'm a big
God
Mets
bless you.
So we have something mutual in common with that. That's
correct.
Thanks for the sweep. Thanks for the Subway Series sweep. The beatdown with the Rusty Grimace pipe. Really appreciated that. Very nice work, Mets.
And after that, we debuted we have a Spanish reggae artist, right, on the team, and just like brought out his track. Oh my God, it is the funniest thing. It's awesome, actually. Anyways, I was in Boston, right? I forgot what section of Boston that I was in, but I was at a pub, right? Because there's pubs out there or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And I had my Mets jersey on. So I'm in the pub. I'm in there, just a couple friends, just drinking and whatnot, and I get these people like looking at me, and the bartender comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "You should probably get out of here." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm paying. Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Look, those guys are old school, man. They hate the Mets. The Mets are actually not liked out here at all. They're like, they remember the World Series." And I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna keep drinking." Right. And
That's the spirit. Yeah.
yeah. So needless to say, nothing happened. But
Oh, thank God. All right.
that rivalry that not many people talk is
That's
a
true.
big one with the Red Sox and the Mets. So just nugget right there. But hey,
I like that. Yeah.
I have us 14-3, man. I mean,
I love it.
I have us losing in San Fran. I know nobody wants me to say that. Nobody wants me to talk. But your dad is right. We have to win those games that we should be winning. Jacksonville, we should be winning those games. I mean, those are the games that if we're have these aspirations of championship, you win those damn games. I mean, look what the Chiefs did last year when everybody was like, "Oh, the Chiefs are going to be shitty. They're not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah." And look what they did. I have us losing. I think the trap game, bro. I keep saying it, and I want to be like, I'm worried after the bye, man.
Oh, Seattle.
Bye week for us, it's been that Achilles heel for us, man, that we've had that, no pun intended, or whatever, right? Whatever metaphor, I don't know. Anyways,
but it feels so hard. You're right, Johnny, but it feels so hard for that to be a trap game. Like, it's a trap. Like, because of their horrible history. Like, it should be woo, woo. It should be like red sirens. Like, that it can't sneak up on you, right? Like, the Jets are too full of their own britches that they kind of overlook somebody. Like, again, a Seattle 1:00 game at home. But, like, with how terrible they've been at, coming off the bye, home, away, anywhere they've been playing, like, you'd think that would be a great point of emphasis. Like, okay, what the hell have we been doing during the bye week? Because it has not been working. Like, even the one they won last year against the Giants, like, sure, they won, but none of us felt good about it. There was that someone we wanted to show to mama on the way home. You know what I mean? That was disgusting. So, yeah, they're, I don't know. Hopefully not, but I feel you.
You can't let Geno Smith come in and punch in the locker room.
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah, but we have a lot of demons, though, right? Zach Wilson, we have Geno, we have Sam Darnold. We have a lot of former Jets quarterbacks that we could run into this year on some sort of weird revenge tour. Yeah,
I'm not sure Zach Wilson is a a nightmare.
I don't know if any of them are. We'll see.
He's a nightmare for our defense because
that's true. Yeah,
they kept him fucking out there for like.
Right.
Seconds, right? And
so that's a defense's revenge this year if he plays.
Yeah,
and
I hope that happens. I hope week 4, Zach Wilson comes in with his freaking, what's the kid from The Incredibles? He looks just like him right now.
Flash or something, or
whatever his name is. He looks just like him, bro. And I hope we beat the bricks off of him. But the two games that I keep going back and forth with is the Seattle game and the Colts game, because. Like low key, kind of like what you were saying, Papa Esden, right? With the wide receiving core over there in Miami, the Colts got a really, really, really good wide receiving core too, with Pittman and all of them over there. And then Anthony Richardson comes out. I know Ricky NY is like, I hate every Florida Gator that's out there and all that, but you got to admit, man, that Anthony Richardson kid is good, man. He really, and what's been our weakness with quarterbacks, it's mobile quarterbacks, and he's one. And then the third game that I say that we lose is at Buffalo. As much as I want to be like, at the end of the day, they still got that one quarterback. I mean, look what they did, right, when they played against the Chiefs last year. The Bills did and all that, and by beating them. So, like, I can't just say, we're going to sweep them and all that, especially at Buffalo, even though we have a quarterback that's played in the frozen tundra and knows how to play in the cold, but it'll be intriguing to see it. I mean, and how awesome is it been that we have been talking about football in June, Jets football at that, right?
Yeah.
So
it's great.
But yeah, man, that's my take, dude. I love when your dad comes on, man. Like he's so insightful with stuff and everything. I'm not trying to, get brownie points, but hopefully I get to crack one open with your dad when we're over there. I'm doing the tailgate, so the 401 click will be there as well. So myself and my uncle will be there as well. So hopefully, Papa, as if we can, man, we could get Boy Green to do a keg stand or a keg toss.
Oh, there you go. We'll do a Boy Green toss.
Yeah, oh, that one too.
That'll be fun. Johnny, thanks, brother.
Appreciate you guys, man. Go Jets, baby.
There he is. Johnny Boy joining us on the show. We have a lot of callers, so I'll try to get to as many of you guys as possible here. Hopefully all of you here on the program. And again, if you don't have the tickets, make sure you guys get them in the YouTube description. All right, up next, Bobby Midnight here on the program. What's up, Bobby?
Hi, Paul Esden. Hi, Papa Esden. How you doing?
Hey, Bobby.
Excellent.
Bobby Midnight.
Congratulations on your Celtics.
Oh, thank you.
I cheer for your Celtics, right, Boy Green?
Yeah, that's true. He has been very thorough and consistent in that realm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the other team. I'm glad that you swept their smelly asses. So I am planning on coming down to the home opener with you guys.
Excellent.
When does the money have to be in by? Do you guys know?
So July 8th. So again, tickets are $140 a pop, and the tailgate is $65.
Okay.
And if you, I don't know what you have, Bobby, a PayPal or Venmo or what have you.
Yeah, I got Venmo.
Okay, great. In the YouTube description of this video, you can see it after or even during. It'll have where to send it, all the specifics, and how and all the details. Again, just your full name, Bobby, an email to communicate with you back and forth so we could get any additional details or anything if we need it. Plus, that's where the Jets are going to send the ticket. So once you pay and once we get the official ticket from the Jets, they will send it to the email that you provide. So make sure it's a good email for you.
Download it, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's the new age of downloading it to the wallet on your phone and all that jazz. Yes.
Okay,
so make sure it's a good email. That's another big shout out to people.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. And you hear I went on my show for 8 hours the other day.
I heard that you forgot to stop going live. So did you just have a live camera in your house when you were sleeping? What happened there?
Oh, I know. It ended at 8 o'clock. 8 hours.
Wow. Okay. Well,
we went
you broke my record.
It was Friday night into Saturday morning. Then I was waiting for your show. It was pre-recorded.
Oh yeah. The Randy show. Yes.
Well, how was your vacation though? You had a good vacation?
Oh, not really. I was still in there with the chat with you guys. So
I didn't see you in the chat. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I was commenting with people. No, Randy couldn't do that early in the morning. He's on the West Coast, so he said he had to record in the afternoon. And I said, okay, I'll record in the afternoon, but I'll just be hanging out in the chat with everybody instead. So yeah, no real vacation. So still every morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing, Papa? Is anything good?
Doing great, Bobby. Looking forward to meeting you. And by the way,
and my brother's coming too.
Just around 80 some odd days.
That's right.
I know, right? Don't rush the summer, though, please. I just hate the winter up here. Please don't rush the summer.
And Vermont, I feel you, Bobby.
Well, you live up there, too. In
New York. Yeah, we get a lot of snow up here in New York.
You probably get more than I do.
Probably that's true. But, hey, I wasn't trying to whip it out for a measuring contest here, you know?
No, but usually you're more up north.
That's true. That's right. Well, I can't wait to see you, Bobby. So let us know again. The date is July 8th. You have to have it in by then. So make sure you lock that in. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, I would like to see you guys too. I can't wait. Jets, Jets.
Jets. There he is. Bobby joined us here on the show. Here, I'll do it for Bobby and all the other Jet fans in here. Here you go, baby. All right, let's keep rolling here. We've got Ricky New York live next year on the program. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, how's it going, Paul?
Good.
You know what? When the schedule first got announced, I predicted 13 wins, and I'm sticking with that. And I predicted that because I was trying to be, realistic with my prediction. But looking at the schedule, I keep looking at it, and it's really hard for me to pick out 4 losses. Tua can't play in the cold weather. So, one of those games should be a win. We split, and all this crap about the Bills being the favorites. Yes, Josh Allen's a good quarterback, but that's not the same team really as they had last year. Not to mention the fact we split with them every year with the worst quarterback play in the last 50 years. With even reasonable quarterback play, we should at least do that. So only one of those 2 games should be a loss, if that. and I really feel like we can play with just about anybody. The Dolphins always collapse down a stretch, and they can't beat a team with a winning record in any kind of weather. And this is the thing about the Bills. If we win one of our 2 games against the Bills, I don't think the Bills are going to beat the Ravens. And then comes weeks 12 through 15, where the Bills go on a 4-game skid, and they get beat by the Niners. And then they get beat by the Chiefs. And then they get beat by the Rams. And then when they're really beat up, they get beat up by the Lions.
They get some tough
so by the
opponents on
time
the
we get to
schedule.
the end of the year, they're not even in the conversation anymore. And this division is ours. And that is the way it's going to happen.
Damn straight.
And that's all
Also,
I have
Ricky,
to say.
your face looks better. It looks like the swelling's down from the tooth. man.
Yes, it's down a lot. It's down
Thank God.
a lot better. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm glad you're feeling okay, and I'm glad your
Oh, I'm
takes are
feeling-
okay.
I'm-
They have not
I'm
been
feeling
affected.
good.
Yes.
72 days until San Francisco. Less than 2.5 months, people. It's almost here.
Can't wait, Ricky. And you'll be with
Me
us
either.
for it, brother. Can't wait, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, pal.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
There he is, Ricky. All right, and we got one last caller to get to, and how could we end with anyone better than this man, B-Mac and SUV in the background, probably joining us back here on the show. What's up, pal?
Hey, Poibal Green.
Yes.
Hey, Pop. Do you mind if I call you Pop?
Sounds
All
good.
right. Hey, first of all, I just I do got one question for Pop, and then I get into my Jets point about why the Jets are going to win the division. But first of all, Pop, I want you to answer this honestly. Just be honest with me. The reason you have a disdain for Rodgers, is it because that, me being a Packer fan and I watch every Packer game, is it because that he owned your Cowboys with an 8-2 record and 18 touchdowns and 2 interceptions?
Is that the reason? I don't dislike Aaron Rodgers. I don't. I've had some challenges or thoughts on things, the way he's gone about how he's done things, but I don't dislike him, right? I think he could have been, I'm not going to go through it again to start the hate train, but the bottom line is I've provided critique as I would to any player on when they do things that I think impact the team when they shouldn't. But I definitely don't hate him. And, at least one of those games against the Cowboys in today's NFL would not have been a win for the Packers. So, but yeah, I don't have any hatred there. The catch or the not catch.
Des Bryant, Tony Romo, fourth
in the playoffs.
and 2.
But so that clearly was a catch. But anyways, but no, I don't have any actual dislike for Rodgers. Some of the things he does I don't like, and then I provide feedback on him like I would anybody.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then the one thing I do want to. Okay, now here's my Jet point.
Sure.
I do think the Jets will win the division. I do think so. Now I know everybody's gonna say health. Rodgers gotta say healthy, but again, I don't know how many times I gotta keep saying this. He's not injury prone. It was a freak accident. The man's been healthy throughout the majority part of his career. And I do in your division, like I said, the Bills, I give the Bills the edge at quarterback, but I think the Jets do have the better team. You know what I mean? But I do think that the Bills have the better QB. And then the Dolphins, I just think, again, they are a finesse team. They don't play well in cold weather. I don't trust Tua in big games and big situations. I do love their head coach, Mike McDaniels. I do think he can definitely, I do think he's one of the best offensive coaches that we have in this league behind Sean McVay, behind Kyle Shanahan and them. I mean, he came from that tree. But I do think the Jets will win the division. Just and again, it's on paper, but that's the only way that we can judge is on paper.
Of course.
Because we can't play games right now in June. So I just think if y'all stay healthy, and if y'all cannot get in your way, and if y'all can, and I think the coaching is our biggest weakness, but I believe talent can overcome the coaching. But I do think if y'all stay healthy and y'all win the games y'all supposed to win, I think y'all schedule is fairly easy. I think y'all can win the division. Go 11, maybe 11-6, 12-5 can win them the division and go on a deep playoff run.
Well, we can only hope so, B-Mac. I love the thoughts. We'll see what they can do, but I do agree that, again, the Rodgers injury, I don't think he's injury prone, but he's got a lot to prove at his age and the seriousness of that injury.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for the day.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, pal.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. Slamming the under on that. We actually have one more squeezing in here. Let's go to FL Phil 98 here on the program. What's up, pal? Oh, maybe not. Let me take him out one more time and try it. His thing's not popping up here. FL Phil. Sorry, pal. For whatever reason, your thing's not working. I'll try to kick you out, and you can see if you could try to come back in for one last second as we're wrapping up the show here. And yes, that was way under for all the people that make the over-under bets on BMAC calls. I see in there. Yeah, that was under. Thank you for that. And BMAC won his money if he was the one who was betting on that action.
Do you smell bacon?
That's the when we determine, do you have an alarm clock? Do you have a this for the end of programs? Normally that. With that being said, we'll wrap up the show there. We have 350 people in the room. We appreciate you. And I'll give one last plug for Jets-Patriots. Again, I'll try to be promoting this on every show the rest of the way. Again, we have basically a weekish that's left in this. So again, guys, Jets-Patriots, you want to join me and my pop for the tailgate, for the ticket, for the whole shish kebab, which I know I have a few people that are already sent money in that want to be a part of both and sit around with us up there in the upper end zone. It's going to be awesome. And if this is a very successful event, we will do more games. But again, we need to see an effort this time, and that will hopefully be a wildly successful event for us to do stuff like this in the future. So that's what I'm hoping for. So Jets-Patriots, baby, week 3. It's whatever it is. What's your number, Dad? You said you're keeping track. How many days away is that one?
It's around 80.
80. Okay, 80. And then we got the 49ers one, which is 70-ish away. So that's great. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Any final thoughts, Pop?
Nope. Look forward. Make sure you get the merch. We'll be back next Saturday.
Okay, that's what was my other question. So I'm going to put you on for a Saturday. Okay, all right. Pop. And that'll be right around the July 4th holiday. We have that on the Thursday. And great. Should be a good one.
Yes, make sure you get your tickets now. There will be a Boy Green toss.
I don't know what that is. That does not sound great. No.
So yeah. Everyone should Google dwarf tossing.
Oh boy.
And
yeah. Well,
maybe we'll bring a catapult.
Yeah. That gained some eyebrows. That could gain some eyebrows. Well, the bacon is ringing. I wish the bacon was ringing for me. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But nonetheless, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, the free way all of you can contribute is by liking the video and hitting subscribe. We appreciate the extra layers of super chats and members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. But please like the video, hit subscribe, whether you're watching live or after the fact. We appreciate you, and we'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Take care, everybody.
Have a great day.